And there we
Oh my
are.
gosh, we're so cute.
We've got our two sides of the screen. Got a little goal in the bottom corner. Or bottom.
I'm now watching an advertisement.
Oh, Bradley.
For one of those, for real. I don't know why. I'm still subbed to you.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Because I think Rachel even said that they had to watch an ad for my channel. But, like, you shouldn't if you're subbed.
I've been subbed for months.
I don't know what
Still
the...
watch an ad every time I load in.
I don't know what the crap is. But, anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to Shadows Over Driftchapel. I am Logan. Never say dice on the internet. This is Bradley. Mostly contraption. Yeah. Most places. Still, I still get recommended sometimes the Twitchell Mitchell Instagram.
The what?
Exactly. It was an Instagram that I guess what used to be yours at one point. It had a picture of you playing Barry sax from like high school or middle school or something. Maybe I'll see if it pops up again.
Did someone make an Instagram account
I mean,
for me?
there's
that makes
no
me uncomfortable.
there's no posts or anything, so I don't know.
I've never used Instagram a day of my life. Interesting.
Yeah, it's literally called Twitchell Mitchell, and it's the current picture is that picture of you and Aaron, I think from a wedding.
It's gotta be linked to my Facebook.
It has 105 followers.
What? Well, look at me go.
I'll send it to you. Anyway, don't go follow that account.
Don't do it. I don't know whose it is.
That's so funny. I thought you knew. Well, anyway, things look a little bit different here because we're doing something a little bit different. With the way the story left off 2 weeks ago, and with the way life things panned out, we only have Bradley here today. And it'll all go very swimmingly, won't it, Bradley?
Emphasis on swimming.
Emphasis on swimmingly. So, make sure that's not too loud. There. Okay. So, no necessarily new announcements next week. An hour earlier, actually, we're going to be doing our date night with my lovely friend Ian, and we're going to be doing a Wild West Call of Cthulhu. Oh, I'm so pumped. It's going to be loads of fun.
Very exciting.
Because there was an email sent out today from Twitch about all of the things that have been happening, the hate raids, the bots, the follow bots, all that stuff. So that is awesome. The sort of walkout worked the other day, so that's going to be great. But because, you know, it's always nice to support people in multiple ways, check out my Patreon. If you are not a fan of Twitch anymore, check out my Patreon for more D&D content and stuff. And in the upcoming weeks, I'm going to be doing some Patreon-exclusive one-shots to pre-record and put on Patreon. It'll be loads of fun. It'll be very goofy stuff, and I'm very pumped for it. Check out my most recent DMs Guild projects, and follow me on social media, and I think that's it. I do want to do a quick shout out. Normally for our Shadows Over Driftchapel, I'll ask what color dice I should use. I always ask, and Daniel Buchan, one of our players, usually recommends electric pink, or some kind of bright colored hot pink. I don't have hot pink dice.
Oh, come on.
But something I do have is a subscription to the dice creators at Libris Arcana. So I will put their website in the chat here. And there's a reason I am bringing this up. Because they do dice, but you can also do a dice subscription where you pay a certain amount and either do a monthly or every 3 months or whatever it is for you. And it's a nice little gift because I pay once every 3 months, and then every 3 months I get a package of dice. Actually, I get 3 sets of dice and stickers and a bonus die. It's very awesome. I highly recommend them. And just a couple days ago, I got one of my subscriptions. So I got these very cool kind of earthy, yellowish, gray, definitely App State colors on dice. Very cool stuff.
Mhm.
I got these very pretty pearlescent dice, which have a bit of blue and purple, and they're kind of translucent. Very pretty. Now, the whole reason I started talking about this was because every week Daniel recommends I use pink dice. Libris Arcana, in my little subscription thing, sent me some pink dice with some gold
Hell yeah.
numbers.
Hell yeah.
So in honor of Daniel, who is not here tonight,
Just
I'll be
not
using
here.
these pink dice for him. And these pearlescent ones, because they've got a little bit of pink in them. And then they also sent me this nice little blue D8. Ooh.
Ooh.
But yes, highly recommend Libris Arcana. And they also sent me some cool stickers. They're all very nerdy stickers. They send some that are themed for their dice, so to tell you what kind of theme of dice they are. But then they also sent me a Super Mario Maker sticker.
What?
And they I don't have my water bottle with me. They sent me a Pudgy Articuno sticker, and this time they just sent me a nice little Pidgey sticker.
What?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So Libris Arcana, they're amazing. Please sponsor me in my D&D streams.
Pudgy Articuno.
It's very cute.
That's adorable.
It looks like a little like baby chickens are just like little squat and round and fuzzy. That's what it looks like, but Articuno, so it's blue and has like the tail and everything.
I'm picturing pigeon Articuno.
Basically. It's so cute. I love it. Rad. So, I think with that's it. Are you ready, Bradley?
Hang on. Yeah, I'm ready. Make sure I'm ready to cry.
You got tissues?
I don't.
The kind with lotion? You don't rub your nose raw?
Rub my nose.
Yeah. So, rather than putting you on the spot and just making you do the recap, unless you really want to. Do you want to?
It's all you if you want to. I don't want to stop you.
No, I just didn't want to put you on the spot as being the only person
fine.
here.
If you want to do the recap, Logan, there's no shame.
It sounds like you want to make me do the recap.
Sounds like I want to make you do the recap.
Keeping it nice, short, and sweet. And if you don't know what's happening later, you can always do ! Recap in the chat, and it'll tell you what happened recently. But our brave heroes delve down into the subterranean tunnels and river systems that are controlled by the cult of Qatu and their deep ones and many monstrosities. After navigating and swimming along the current for a little while, they found what clearly is a somewhat habitated point in these river systems with statues of a woman in a flowing dress with a hand to her mouth like a whisper, and holding a flame at her stomach, thick shadows that seem to almost watch everywhere you move, and constantly flowing water in the background. However, they found what seemed to be a structure carved into the rock walls of this tunnel on one of the ledges, which seemed to be like a room, like old crypts in the Dominion. They heard voices on the other side, Kamin prepared to do what he does best, while the other two prepared to do what they do best. They scooted slowly into these chambers, and on the other side of the door revealed a familiar face, for some reason, to Kamin. A friend, Hudson, bald mustachioed man, wearing a nice sailor pea coat, greeted him. He was gambling at a table with cultists, playing cards, invited Kamin to come sit in for a game. And as Bradley made note of in the last session, referred to him as Kamin.
Mm-hmm.
Brought him down to play a game. And eventually, as enough conversation passed, enough small talk, eventually Hudson sort of told Kamin he could provide the answers. The answers, retiring in Driftchapel is always nice and calm, and, might be a good place to go see, and, maybe we can help, we can figure it out together. All sorts of supportive stuff. But then gestured over to a door at the edge of the room that had almost like a constellation on it, tracing some symbols on the door. The door faded, and Kamin and Hudson stepped through the door. Did I get all that right, Bradley?
It sounded good to me. Well, it didn't sound good, but it sounded accurate.
Any questions before we continue? I mean,
Why?
lots of questions, but I just want any clarifications, I guess.
Um, how long has it been since I walked into the gambling hall, so to speak? Or would I even be consciously aware of that?
Maybe just 5 to 10 minutes.
Cool. Good to know.
Okay. All right. So with that, we gotta buckle up a little bit. Kamin, after a flash of light and pitch darkness, you finally open your eyes. And immediately your lungs seize up as you realize you're underwater. You start holding your breath. You start moving your arms and legs around, and you are swimming. You're treading water. Everything's a bit dim. Don't know exactly where you are or what you're looking at, but then you feel your hand graze something along the side. You look, and it's a box, a crate. As you adjust, you look to your left. There's one to your left. There's one behind you. There's not one in front of you. You look up to where you would expect a bit of sunlight to be trickling through some of the water, but it's just water and boxes all the way up like walls. And you look out ahead of you, and what you can barely see, there's some more box like pillars, almost like walls. You see some netting and ropes draped across some of them and draped overhead. Start swimming about. And you've had plenty of dreams like this before, but this feels all too real. And then it starts to dawn on you. You're holding your breath. And so you start to look around very quickly, looking for anything out of the ordinary. And the only thing you can see is there's a sort of a path ahead of you through all these boxes and crates. And you look down and you see just the glint of almost golden light way down in the depths of the water.
So I see a generic path ahead of me and light below me.
Yes.
Do I get a sense of how far below me I'm looking?
Great question, Bradley. And here's how we're going to do this. With this is where it's going to get a little heartbeaty.
So quickly. Oh, great. Woohoo.
You are holding your breath. Kamin, you said your constitution was a +3, so you can technically hold your breath for up to 4 minutes. The way we're doing this, it's going to be almost like combat.
Oh, no.
You effectively have it's pseudo combat. So you can move, of course, swimming at half your speed. So 15 feet.
Not to be that guy, but I did just check on a rules clarification for myself, because this was not something I remembered or not. Fathomless Warlock, level 1 feature, Gift of the Sea. I gain a swimming speed of 40 feet and can breathe underwater.
There you go. Perfect. No, that's definitely going to help. Okay, then what do you do?
I'm gonna swim down towards the light.
Towards the light? Perfect. Actually, look this one up. It feels as though It's definitely. Oh shh! That was so loud. Hello, Magic Aria,
Aria.
Magica Aria. Thank you for following. Thank you so much. You're here for at a very
Hello.
interesting time, to say the least.
Very intimate session.
Very intimate date-like session.
Mm.
mm. So let's see here. So you start swimming deeper and deeper as you start going down. It's fairly easy, and there's a bit of dodging and weaving you have to do from these endless stacks of crates, and they just kind of seem to keep appearing and keep going deeper and deeper. After a moment or two, not sure how long, the heaviness of the water starts to press on you and press on you. And you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as the pressure starts to get to you. And the longer you're swimming down here, the harder it is to swim in this pressure.
Hmm. Do I get have I gained any further sense of how close or far away this light is from me?
It fades. It's sort of like it's like a light glint off of it. And so a couple moments and it appears again. A couple moments appears again. And with all of the darkness, it's hard to see an exact distance, but you've been swimming for maybe a minute. And you've maybe gotten 20 to 25% closer.
I'll keep going for now.
Keep going. As you swim this next little bit, swimming deeper and deeper down, you hear a voice across the waves, across the water around you. It's a little hard to hear at first. It hard to hear with just the warbling of the water around you, but eventually you're able to make out that same kind of whispering voice you heard previously. Don't you remember now? This was your beginning. And your fingers graze some of the boxes as you keep going down deeper and deeper. As the next minute passes, another 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh dear.
Now seemingly about halfway there.
I book it. I go down as fast as I can.
Go ahead, make an athletics check for me.
Pretty sure I'm proficient in that.
Yes.
I am. Oh boy.
And I think I need to turn on the channel point rewards. Yes, I do. I suck.
22.
22, definitely. You cut the time down in half. Now you only have another minute left by the time you do so. Again, muscles starting to ache at this point as you are diving deeper and deeper and deeper, which also means the pressure gets worse and worse and worse. This time, 9 points of bludgeoning damage. But with another successful athletics check, you will reach whatever that gleaming object is.
9. Actually, no. 25. I'm going to spend my 18. from last session. Unless it's been more than an hour since then.
No. But make an investigation check for me.
Oh no. That was a good roll. Oh, and apparently I'm proficient in that too. 23.
As you're swimming down, you stop for a moment, reach back. Your bag is still on your back, and you're able to pull fish out that pocket watch, clutch it, and propel yourself forward until that gleam of light is now blinding. As you feel like your lungs and rib cage are about to crush in on themselves, your eyes wince back from the blinding light of whatever this object is. And then when you open them once again, you're no longer looking at a blinding light in darkness. You're looking at a candlelight. And you look around the room, and then you're in a room. Kind of a familiar room. It's like a tavern, maybe? It's wooden walls, wooden door, wooden shutters on the windows. But it's filled with water. Everything is in like this underwater stasis. There are things floating through the water, though. You see liquor bottles, beer bottles, pipes, flasks, little pouches of who knows what. And then as your eyes adjust to something that just barely floats across your face, you kind of reel back as a pair of underwear floats across. Just over.
Do I recognize the underwear?
Yeah, it has your initials.
My mom sewed into the back so I wouldn't lose them when I went to summer camp.
Mm-hmm. And you look around the room and there's stuff floating everywhere in the water. And even your own pack of stuff. Things floating, the 2 flintlock pistols floating everywhere. Just all kind of loosely in the room.
I'll try and gather my things back up if I can't get them back onto my person, just at least in my general vicinity. And then just kind of explore about the room that I find myself in. Maybe grab a liquor bottle and see if I'm lucky and there's anything else still trapped inside.
So you expertly move about the room very swiftly, leaving just a trail of bubbles behind everywhere you move. It doesn't take too long before you realize that here too, it's salt water. You can taste it. And as you reach for each bottle, checking to see if there's anything in it, shaking each one, finally, you find one. From a distillery in the Eggfeld Isles. And as you shake the bottle, seeing a little bit of liquor in it, you hear that whispering voice once again say, "And see, this is where you've fallen."
Fallen from where? Who are you? I'll look around the room for a person, a source for this voice.
Perfect. Actually, I forgot to get the actual Shadows Over Driftchapel book.
It's kind of important. You might need that.
It's only the campaign we're doing.
Only,
Kamin.
That is my character's name, I think.
With that, if I could get you to, of course, make a wisdom check for me.
Wisdom check, not a sanity roll.
Not a sanity roll yet.
Just wisdom. Nothing else.
Just wisdom.
I don't like that. I'm not good at that. 7.
Now roll a d20 for me.
16. And a die.
As you ask that question, you feel a tingling. The same tingling as whenever you summon a tentacle to do your bidding, but it's at the end of your arm. And you look down, and at your left hand, all of your fingers start turning into tentacles and wrapping up. An eyeball opens in the palm of your hand, and you hear a voice whisper to you in just an incessant warbling, and you just know it is taking over, that this is it. And before you know it, now that you've gathered up everything, gathered up whatever liquor bottles, by the next time you blink and look, the water around you is smoky with blood, and your left hand is floating loosely across the room. And you now look at the bleeding end of your arm.
Can I grab my hand as it floats away?
You sure can.
Is it still made of tentacles with an eyeball in the middle of it?
It is. Nope, it is just your normal hand. Presumably saved because you severed it from your being.
I stick it in my pocket. I don't know what to do with my hand.
Go ahead.
I'm upset by that.
Oh.
Oh wait, later in life I can go pocket hand.
Pocket hand. Jesus Christ. So you are holding on to your now severed hand, a bit of blood trickling from where it once was.
And I'll like close off the wound that is my, I'm sure, blood gushing stump.
Well, it's just filling in the water. It's just nice clouding up
Oh
the
yeah,
area.
it's very, very atmospheric as I die.
You bleed out and die.
Does it like sting real bad because I'm underwater and salt water? If you say no, I'm gonna be more upset.
No.
Fuck. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to wrap my left hand, right hand.
Left hand.
Left hand. I will wrap my left arm in whatever I have, like my coat or something. Stick my left hand in my right pocket.
Because you never know.
You never know when I might need it. And look around the room again to see just if anything's changed, but also just kind of like threat assessment time. Like, I'm in danger. I've been hurt. I've taken damage. Like, I'm a little bit fight or flight mode at the moment.
The window is all closed up. You can't see out of it. There's a door to this room. There is a desk and bed and all the normal things for like an inn room, but looking at the table, empty liquor and beer bottles, you open up some of the drawers, empty cigar boxes, extra clothes, mostly like working garb. And since you've gathered up all your stuff, there's really not too much else besides the door and the window.
I'll take some of the extra clothing stuff to kind of bandage up my arm as best as I can. And then I'll like a glance over at the window, just getting a little closer to see if I can see anything on the other side.
Make a perception check.
Oh boy. These wisdom-based checks that I'm just so good at. It's cocked. 9.
Perfect. As you go to try and peer through the blinds of the window, right as your hands reach for it, you hear a voice coming from the other side of the door, at the opposite side of the room. A voice you've heard very recently, of Hudson, say, "Hey, boy, could you get out here and help me with this for a second?"
Okay. So, threat assessment quick analysis time for Kamin. Met this dude who seemed very friendly, but I didn't know him. But he knew me. He knew my name. I followed him through a door because he said he could fix me. I woke up underwater, swam down for a long time, and then had to cut my hand off because of an evil eye and several tentacles poking out of it. I do another once over in the room just to make sure nothing has changed. There's not suddenly an extra door somewhere else.
Give me a perception check.
It's cocked. Close to an 18, though. Instead, it's a 5.
Oh no, Bradley.
I missed the secret door that was like all happiness and goodness right through this little mouse hole. I missed it.
No, it's just me reading some of these things.
I just got a notification that I've reached enough channel points for dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. You can dun 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 yourself.
I was about to say I could just totally.
You kind of
throw
already have
myself
dun
in a
dun
loop.
dun
I did
yourself.
do that.
Yeah. Man, that sounds like a new.
I'm gonna do it again.
That just sounds like a new like, hey, go fuck yourself, but go dun 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 yourself.
I hope your life meets a sudden and unforeseeable change that you can do nothing about. It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. Good luck.
Oh God. You give the room one final look over, trying to look past the liquor bottles and cigar boxes floating in your vision, throwing them out of the way in like 0 G's. All the while you hear this voice outside being like, "Hey, did you sleep in? What are you doing in there? Come on, hurry up!" From outside the door. But, something you do find tucked beneath the pillow of the bed, as the pillow slowly, like, 0 G's floating through the air, seems to be a scrap of paper that is very quickly starting to succumb to the water and getting soggy.
I grab it, see if I can read whatever's written on it.
Effectively, with the ink smeared and the parchment worn away, the first thing you see is the address, the addressee, the person that the letter is written to. In nice, beautiful calligraphy, the name, Jude. Our time was lovely, and I'll never forget it. But do you know how it is with my... They would never really... I hope... And then it's all smeared down from the rest. But to you, because I've been watching Marie Kondo lately, even though you don't know why, somewhere in your psyche, it sparks joy. And a little bit of heartbreak. It sparks something, but you don't know what from.
Stick it in the pocket with my hand.
Your severed hand closes.
Wrap my hands around it, yeah.
God.
That way when I find this lady, I can offer her my hand.
You walk up to her, "Hey, will you marry me?" Throw down your severed hand.
Then I guess I'll head for the door.
Head for the door. You open the door, and all reality defined, you expect the water that's packed into this room to immediately rush out of the door. But as you open it up, the exterior is flooded just as much. You kind of peek out into the hallway. And to your left, down the uh, down the hallway where there's still torches, still lit, despite being underwater. The rug, the little sideboard against the wall. There's a few rooms down to your left where you see some people standing at the end of the hallway, talking, but almost frozen in conversation, like they're, statues holding their position, speaking to one another. And you look immediately to your right, and you see the mustachioed figure of Hudson standing there, again, sort of frozen in mid conversation, scolding or conversing with someone you don't recognize, hand outstretched to him. Kind of a young fellow, uh, kind of shaggier, dark hair, typical worker sailor garb, um, bags under their eyes. But then hallway continues, stairs down, assumed to be main floor of the inn.
I walk over towards the seemingly frozen Hudson and other person. Just tentatively, like I'm not sneaking, but I'm like creeping up. Um, just like arm kind of tucked under my other arm to keep it safe. Um, and I'll come up next to him, just like look around to see if he's gonna move or jump at me or something else.
And it's very akin to like those like Max Wax Museum statues where it's like it's realistic. And in fact, you'd like it's probably a real person, but they're so stationary that it's just strange. And you kind of move, wave a hand, and don't do anything.
I poke him.
And it's squishy like flesh. They don't move.
Smack. Nothing.
Make a strength check.
Oh, oh. 6. Ooh. I'm rolling so great today. Woo!
Say with the bit of water resistance, like it just kind of hits.
No.
There's a bit of as it hits, but it doesn't move the head or anything.
I'll look back to the individual he's talking to, kind of do the same, wave around, poke him.
Wave around. Poke him a little bit, and in a lightning flash, the head snaps towards you. The mouth opens with razor sharp teeth and lunges out. And as you blink and reel back, he's just standing stationary, taking whatever scolding he's receiving.
Oh God! I'll like fall backwards and like onto the ground.
And you will
absolutely
also
terrified.
make a sanity roll for
Oh
me.
fuck! Was that 1 or 2?
Yep.
For those? Shit. 7
Okay. Good for now.
for now.
Good for now.
I will make my way away from that thing. Past the two of them, deeper down into that room.
Kind of push past them a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't move, nothing happens, and you make it to the end of the stairs and you step down, and it's like looking at a strange but weirdly familiar snapshot of a tap room of an inn. People sitting around eating and drinking. Looks to be like eggs, fish, and toast. See the innkeepers in mid-stride going to seat people and deliver food. But everyone's just frozen in this underwater stasis. And it even reaches a point as you're standing there for a second, the food starts to lift up off the plates. The drinks, their coffee start to mix with the water around it. And it's just strange, to say the least.
No familiar faces in the crowd, not a familiar scene that I'm looking at.
I know it's not your strong suit, but make an insight check.
For some reason, insight is one of my proficiencies.
Heyo.
I have the weirdest fucking proficiencies on this fucking character. Which makes that roll a 21.
21, nice. That's one of my favorite things in the campaign I play with Jacob is that I grew up a rich boy, and so I was educated. I went to school and took classes, but I'm super dumb. And so like I'm proficient in like history and maybe even nature because I went to school and learned that
Yeah.
stuff, but I'm super dumb and I can't apply it. So it's like I have all these like proficient skills that are like +1 because I'm dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? Worth it. It's more fun that way.
It makes for interesting.
But with the 21, you scan across the room at the top of the stairs, looking at the packed tables. Many of the people are dressed the same to some degree. All varieties of thick clothing, workers' garb, coveralls, pea coats, hats and scarves, gloves, whatever it might be. Pack this in for what seems to be breakfast time. And you look out over the crowd and you see that there is a 2-person table at the far side of the room through the crowd. One seat is empty, but it's decked out with breakfast foods. And in your time in Driftchapel, you had the best of, potatoes and fish. But you see actual, like, good-looking food over at this table, pots of coffee and tea and whatever else it might be. Across from the empty chair, you see Hudson in his pea coat. And he has a hand up and is looking directly at you from across the room as if he is waving for you to come over, but he's just not moving.
I turn back around to look back down the hallway to see if he's also still behind me.
The hall is completely empty. Even the people at the end, they're gone.
Even the creepy dude with lots of teeth who yelled at me.
Yep, and if you will do me a favor, roll another sanity check. Yeah.
8.
Okay. It's gonna be one of those sessions.
I knew it was going to be. Is there a door? Like the front door?
Yes, over in the corner. So if you will mind palace with me, you're standing at the top of the stairs. If you go reach the bottom of the stairs, take a sharp left and go straight to that far wall. That's where the 2-person table is. But if you reach the bottom of the stairs and go at a diagonal away to the corner of the building, that's where the door is.
I head for the door.
As you start striding your way, moving between the still people, I assume you do so like kind of delicately.
Yes.
Make an acrobatics check for me.
Okay. Oh, wow. It's a natural 20 for 22. What a great time to use a natural 20.
I mean, I think in this session, every roll counts.
Roll
it doesn't matter when like
there are no bad rolls.
Yes. As you reach the double door to this tap room, you hear that whispering voice just over your shoulder, kind of back behind you, say, "But this morning was different. You didn't know it, but I did."
Who are you? What morning? Who is what? Where am I?
Make a wisdom check for me.
12.
Roll a d20 for me.
I'm gonna lose another limb.
Fucking baby.
14.
Okay.
Look down at my left foot. Its tentacles begin.
Everything is all there.
Anything extra?
Nope.
Okay.
Do you turn around to respond to this voice?
Yeah. In responding, I will probably turn around.
Yep. First thing is you turn around and the entire crowd in the tap room is staring at you. Their heads turned at all sorts of angles, watching you as you leave. So go ahead and roll a sanity die.
Oh God! And Bradley needs to make a sanity roll after that. It's another 8. Come
And
on, D8.
And then you glance over. By the time you shake that off and look away and avert your eyes, there is one person in the entire place that doesn't have their eyes trained on you. You look over and see the back of Hudson's head, and just over his shoulder is that sort of shaggy-haired, sunken-eyed worker that he was scolding in the hallway. Kind of has his eyes trained down. And as you look, Hudson cranes his head over and makes eye contact with you. But that shaggy-haired fellow doesn't.
I'm like at the door, hand on the doorknob, but I turn back and look at this. I'll let go of the doorknob. I'll reach back into my hand pocket to pull out the silver pocket watch. And I just want to like hold it in my hand and kind of use my thumb to polish the backside of it to see my face, to see my reflection in it. And compare what I see in my reflection to this kid that's sitting at the table with him.
Despite any image of yourself prior to this, you look at the reflection in this silver pocket watch and see that shaggy-haired kid looking back at you, his eyes now trained directly at you in your reflection, to the point where it makes you jump because it's not what you expected whatsoever. Roll a sanity die.
I'm just gonna keep rolling until I fail.
I told you. It's one of those.
That's a 2.
All right, so you were rolling a d8.
Yes.
So that now goes to a d6. Do you want me to roll the d20 for madness, or do you want me to?
Roll it. I don't want to know.
I don't know if I can do this one.
Yeah, you gotta. You absolutely have to.
It's like it's making my like skin crawl thinking about it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We'll it'll be a fade to black scenario. Oh god, I don't think I can do it. I'm gonna re-roll it. I don't even think I can describe it.
Oh man.
What I rolled, I'm gonna read it verbatim because I don't think I can ever do this one in game ever, because this is one of like, you know, like whenever you learn about like that old medieval torture technique where it's like, yeah, they used to put like, you know, wooden toothpicks under people's toenails and like hammer like that skin crawling sensation. Anything involving like teeth, that fucks me up. I hate that shit.
Were you gonna fuck with my teeth?
It was one of the things, I will read it verbatim. Qatu has entered through your teeth. If you remove them, you can purge her writhing presence. So Kamin was going to be toothless, but because Logan gets squeamish at teeth, I can't do that to you. Yeah, I cannot make you sit through that. That's horrible.
Just reminds me of the little tooth bones from who's the creator on Instagram that you referred me to, who makes like a lot of like fun, tiny, whimsical little familiars.
Something folio.
The fluffy folio.
Yes. I love their. Oh, it's all
Dude,
such cool
I got it
stuff.
pulled up right here. Uh, this was a creature that I
Yes.
found on that, and I used it in my Waterdeep sessions. They were hunting a necromancer, and they found a chest, and I just said, "Chest is full of teeth," and they were like, "That's so gross." And then I had them all come alive.
That's vile, bro. That's vile.
I
Um,
loved it.
I actually, I need to look up something here, but, you find yourself as you are staring at your reflection, clutching the silver pocket watch until the point where you are clutching it so hard it starts to dig into the skin of your hands. But because you're essentially having a staring contest with your reflection, and you see that a bit of blood starts to drip and descend out into the water. And I need to roll a little bit of damage here.
Oh no! You can stop that whenever you want.
Oh, I rolled high. I rolled so high, Bradley. But that's part of the thing, isn't it?
Depends.
What are you at right now?
70? Did you just kill me?
I didn't just kill you.
Oh God! Do I wish that you just killed me to make it easier?
Do I wish you could? So that is going to be 9 points of damage.
Okay.
So now you're at 8?
Oh, 7D.
70. I think you said 17. I was
No,
like,
no, no.
oh no.
7D.
No. So another 8.
8.
So you're okay. You're living.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You're fine.
You had me so worried.
You had me
and
so
you
worried.
said 9. I was like, oh, that's nothing.
7D. D's nuts.
D's nuts.
Oh man, we really
Nice.
just did that.
Nice.
Content,
baby.
But then when you finally look up from the reflection in your silver pocket watch, the young fellow sitting at the table is gone, but everyone is staring at you again.
I'll look back to the room and lather on a thin veneer of fake confidence and say, fine, if you really want me to stay. And I'll take my seat at the table across from Hudson.
You take a seat. At this point, you avert your gaze for just a moment in the process of sitting down. When you look up, everyone's going about their business. You kind of sit for a second. There's food sitting in front of you. There's coffee that's leaching out into the water around you. And just for a moment, you look down, averting your gaze once again, blink. And when you open your eyes, this time you're still sitting, but on the deck of a ship. A stationary ship. And it's all underwater. There's no water level as you look over your shoulder. It's almost just, again, it's floating in this middle of nothingness. You look around and you see a lot of those kind of workers from before in their warm weather clothes and their coats and their scarves and gloves. You see Hudson standing off to the side, pointing at folks wearing what seems to be just heavy clothes, so he's not getting in the water anytime soon. But then when you look down, you're not wearing your normal clothes. You're wearing a neck to foot metal suit. All varieties of tubes and all sorts of stuff branching off from it, connecting to a tank on your back. Creaks a little bit as you move around in it. And you look to your left and right, and you see other folks dressed similarly, except one of them has a big metal helmet on with a glass face to it. And you look down at your feet, and there's a similar metal helmet sitting down on the ground.
Would this be reminiscent of something the figure that Sludig encountered in Driftchapel, as he described to me?
Sure was.
Well, I really don't want to be here any longer than I have to. I'm assuming I still can't feel my left hand. My left hand is still missing.
It is still missing, yes.
Cool. So I just have like the glove diving suit hanging off of it.
Just
conforming.
limp.
I will bend over and pick up the one-handed pick up the helmet
Palming it like a basketball.
with my giant hands.
Yeah, the one hand is missing, but all of the mass from the one hand went into your other hand, so it's like twice the size.
That's terrifying. That's worse than anything else you've described so far. I'll pull my teeth out first.
Oh god. Uh as you don the metal helmet and peer through the glass, now this Hudson is standing directly in front of you, sort of hand outstretched to help you stand up, but then a voice echoing throughout this metal helmet to the point where it's almost deafening. It's still a whisper in tone, but it's loud. Saying, "A routine dive brought you to me. It was fate. It was meant to be. Otherwise, you would have died down there. Come back to me." And you blink one final time. Hudson is gone. People working the deck seem to vanish from at least this glass lens of now your field of view. And you're no longer sitting, but now you're standing at the edge of this boat, sort of just dark depths ahead of you.
And what if I don't want to?
Make a wisdom check for me. That's not me saying, if you don't want to, make a wisdom check. Like,
Yeah.
If you don't, wisdom is your only stat.
What a great character concept. You have -2 in all of your stats. Good luck. What'd you 4?
I'll roll the d20 now.
Yay.
Oh, that's a 1. I don't know what that means.
I lose both my legs. It's worse. It's worse than losing my legs.
It's close to losing your legs.
Oh, fuck.
As you shout this out to the whisper over your shoulder and around in your helmet, arms start to go a little tingly, like when you get nervous and you start to get a little lightheaded, and your legs start to get a little numb, your knees a little shaky. And then it just feels like you don't have any control over your legs and arms at all, as they're just hanging kind of limply. And you can't do anything to catch yourself as you start to fall forward off the edge of the ship, and are now... You don't splash, but now you look around and you are just floating in the depths. No ship, No boxes, no nets, nothing around you. Nothing but a voice that says, almost there. You're close. It's okay. And that's where we'll stop to take a little refill and toilet cat break. Give Bradley a chance to breathe for a second. Yeah, duet, like one-on-one, it's hard. It's exhausting.
This is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's fine. We're doing it. We're trucking through.
We're
We're gonna make it.
trucking.
Gonna see if I'm gonna die.
Woo! All right. So we will pick back up in just a few minutes. Take a quick toilet cat break. Magica Aria, if you're still here. From a stupid joke that was made a long time ago, one of our little mascots for the channel is the toilet cat. It is literally, if you end up subscribing, you'll hear us say toilet cat. But if you ever end up subscribing, you'll see a little emote with a cat coming out of a toilet. It's goofy. All because I have a tiny bladder and I need to use the restroom a lot, and people make fun of me for it. So here we are. Welcome to the Toilet Cat Squad. But we'll pick back up after toilet cats and refills, and we will see what happens to Kamin.
Oh boy.
Oh no, my chat's open. There we go. Oh, and something's wrong. Oh, it's not in full screen. There we go. That should be good.
Hello.
Oh man. So, Kamin, you were floating in endless ocean and abyss. Just nothing but water all around you. Take several moments of floating, turning around, trying to find what way is up, what way is down, until finally, in some of the darkness beyond, you see that same strange glint of golden light again. Just whoosh, flicker in and out, kind of guiding you.
I follow the light. What else?
That's like the one thing you're not supposed to do. Don't go into the light.
I'll just wander around in this horrible murky darkness for a while.
I think that's called limbo. I think that's the...
I think it's called rolling a new character.
Let's see what happens here. Actually, let's keep this real spicy, Bradley. What do you say?
No, I don't like spicy foods.
I know, it's so funny because, like, whenever the stakes aren't, like, as apparent, people are like, yeah, just do it, let's do it, let's do it. But then it's like, oh, maybe let's not do the thing.
My actions have consequences. Oh, no.
Go ahead and roll me an athletics check for me. As you swim deeper and deeper and deeper, you feel that same kind of crushing weight on your body.
20.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Dude. That is only 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Well, you can stop doing that whenever you'd like to.
As you swim down, down, down. I can't get that low, but...
Through the burning ring of fire.
Yeah, there you go. Following that occasional flicker of light. And finally you reach a bottom, a floor, ground. Your feet land with a soft thud. Sediment lifts up into the water around you. It's all flat. There's some rocks here and there, but it's desolate looking. No life, no vegetation, nothing. But Make a perception check for me.
12.
You have dark vision, yeah?
Yes.
You peer around you, and next to some nearby rocks, you see what looks like debris almost. You take a few slow steps forward. It's debris, pieces of metal, what looks like wood, rope, all sorts of rubbish. But then you see a little bit ahead of that, and a little bit ahead of that. And then you look. It's hard to make out. But you see what looks like a dark silhouette. Large dark silhouette. Farther away from you, following this trail of rubbish. Do you follow it? To get a better view.
I'll do another pan around the area just to see if there is anything else, if there is another option.
So with that 12, we'll keep that 12. The debris you see, it's familiar. And getting just a bit closer to look around the area, you make the shape of the silhouette out a little bit more, and it looks like two halves of a ship that have settled on the ground in the water. And looking at the debris around you, some of the crates are, snapped, and it's hard to read whatever writing may have had on them. Any metal scraps maybe have a bit of paint, but nothing too signifying. But you do catch on a nearby plank of wood, probably from a cargo crate because it's smaller, the name of the town of Driftchapel. Clearly what is some kind of import or export or something. And you recall why you're down here. Maybe. You're here to get some stuff off the crashed ship from Driftchapel. See if there were any people, any bodies you can recover, any goods. And you think, yeah, there's goods on this ship. There's something of importance on this ship that I need to go find. So then it less becomes about a job and more of a very active, yeah, there's something here I need to find.
I'll head towards the wreckage.
And as you look up through this glass visor, you see a little glint of gold light. And even though you do have a swim speed and all that good jazz from your subclass, that suit is clunky. I mean, mechanically, we're not going to worry too much about it, but I would akin it to, like, plate armor or something where you're like...
Yeah.
You're looking like a Reinhardt down here under the water, and just like...
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Yeah, there's a little girl walking next to you. Where'd she come from? You start getting...
Malachi in a little dress.
Oh, Brad. I wish I were a big, popular, famous streamer, so someone would do fan art of that.
Get fan art. That would be the best thing in the world.
I can't imagine if you found someone who does like D&D fantasy art, and you're like, yeah, I just need you to draw a Big Daddy from BioShock, and then draw a little miniature beholder in a little doll dress.
Yeah, thanks. That's all.
That's it. That's all I need. Oh my god. I wonder if I can find a little thing to put on the little Malachi emote, put a little like skirt on the bottom.
A bow on its head.
Oh man, I might do that if you if Kamin makes it out of all this, and you
if I live.
Yep. If you summon Malachi again, and he has on a little dress and a bow, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong? What are you doing?
He's been cosplaying. He was at GazerCon.
He says his first words, "Would you kindly?"
Need shoot on sight.
Oh god. Oh man. Well, you thud your way forward in your diving suit. Um, and this is going to be a very like snapshot, moment by moment kind of thing for a second, because I might have you roll a couple things as things unfold. As you start stepping closer and closer to the wreckage, it is indeed a ship. As you come up to it, it's old metal hull that seems to have ripped apart, Titanic style, and sunken down to the seabed. Um, as you get closer, it's so much more debris than there was before. Um, and diving suits are not invincible. So Kamin, probably a dexterity check, but if you could justify another check to avoid any kind of severe damage or stuff to your suit, we can negotiate.
Nope.
All right, then you
Plus
can do it.
twos all around.
Perfect. Then I'll say you can make an acrobatics if you happen to be proficient, but
I am not.
give me a dexterity check.
I will take that 16.
Nice. The name of whatever this ship was is half ripped and scraped. But you see that the last four letters are IANA in kind of a gold lettering. As you start making your way closer, there is cargo debris everywhere. Absolute ruins. But you start seeing more of planks and more labels and things signifying that this was at one time Driftchapel property to some extent. You see a couple names of other cities and regions and kingdoms here and there, but most of those are kind of stowed away at the back of your mind, and so you just kind of recognize the name and that's it. But then you start noticing bodies. Sailors who went down with the ship. A lot of them are bloated, swollen, grayed at this point. And all of this starts to ring familiar. You've done this before. You've interacted with these bodies before. You've seen them to the point where it starts to like really, it's painful deja vu. You're like, I know I've done this before. So if you will, roll me a sanity roll for me, first off.
4.
Okay. You see next to you, as you're stepping through all the rubble, kind of half buried under one of the crates is a bloated sailor's body. And as you kind of go to look at it a little bit closer, it's a gut feeling. Kamin doesn't have the best intuition, but there's a gut feeling saying like, no, that one's not right. In this sort of deja vu, there's sort of like a blind spot to that body. And then you look and there's another one that's kind of laid across a rock. There's kind of a blind spot over that one too. And you can't help but think like, those aren't it. I skipped over those. Those aren't important for some reason. Make a perception check for me.
13.
Awesome. You take just an extra second and gaze across all the debris. You see maybe 4 bodies within your vision here amid the debris. You keep thinking, no, that. And then finally your eyes fall on a 5th body where there's a golden glimmer of light. And you see a body laying there, kind of half on its stomach, arms out, just kind of limply laying in the silt. But there's something golden clutched to its chest.
Kind of turn the body over and see what treasures it
Yes.
holds.
You slowly step, silt lifting up into the water. You get over to the body, sailor garb, of course, soaked pea coat and sweater, coveralls, torn. There's all sorts of rips through all the clothing, and even a few bloodstains here and there. And you flip over the body to see a young, shaggy-haired individual, sunken eyes that looks. It's you, laying in this sand, clutching this, whatever it is. So first, make a sanity roll for me.
3.
Okay. It's definitely you laying in the silt. But that's not necessarily what gets your... Once you're able to kind of compartmentalize that for a second, you realize that the whooshing and warbling of the water in your ear, it's not exactly what it sounds. It's whispering. It's a cacophony of whispers, like a whole chorus, a choir of people whispering at once. And then you finally lay eyes on whatever this golden object is in your arms. And it has a base to it, like a statue or a trophy or something that has all sorts of script along it. Sort of this octagonal base with what looks like tentacles wreathing up, all molded out of gold, perfectly sculpted, with a variety of eyes carved in all of the different gaps. It's maybe a foot or so in length, but it seems to be the source of all of this whispering.
I would like to cast vibe check on the thingy.
Cast vibe check.
Yeah, it has to succeed at DC 17 vibe. Yeah, I don't know what I'm asking here. Insight check? Investigation? Arcana?
You know what? Here, let's get real, Bradley, you and I like rules.
We do.
My favorite section of the player's handbook is chapter 7, subheading using each ability. That's my favorite chapter. I reference it the most of any chapter in the player's handbook.
That's a good section.
It is a great section because essentially if you don't know what to do, see if that skill and ability falls in line with that, and there you go. So let's look at insight here. True intentions of a creature, such that they're lying, but wisdom overall is reading body language, understanding someone's feelings, knowing things about the environment, or care for an injured person. Now, the one I was questioning was investigation or intelligence, logic, education, memory, or deductive reasoning. So I would call this just a straight wisdom check. I'm sorry, I know you're proficient in insight, but
10.
10. Before I go any further, I'm gonna share some artwork with this. I might try and put it on screen if I can finagle it fast enough. It's gonna take me a second. We shall see.
Here I will distract the good people.
Different.
Look at this cat.
That's a good cat. How is okay? So this is about to be a little bit of a tangent as I screen cap a little bit of this art. So recently, our cat Lyra has been having a case of the sniffles. Specifically, like, she's real snotty, and whenever she sneezes, it lasts for 30 seconds. It's like multiple sneezes. And she was on medication, took her to the vet, and she got a prescription, all sorts of stuff, and it cleared up, but it's coming back again. And so we started doing this thing where we put her in the shower in the bathroom while we shower to like steam her a little bit. And Bradley, every time I can't help but think of Bayorn and how every time you would shower, he would put his nose underneath the door and just like lay there and just lay and feel in the steam. So is he still like sniffly and sneezy and stuff?
No, he kind of grew out of that after the first couple of years of having him. I just think it was finally his either his body got used to it or his nose just grew to the point where it wasn't as sniffly, snorfly anymore. Every now and then it comes up, but it also I think has to do with a mild case of allergies in spring times, because I know Jasper will occasionally have issues like that. But his honestly, he's ever since honestly since we moved, maybe even sooner than that. I'd say probably around the time I was in Mountaineer Village, it kind of cleared up. He kind of
Oh,
really didn't start doing that as much. Of course, that
dang.
came with its own set of challenges because he got some pretty major anxieties while in Mountaineer Village. I think a lot of that was because of Skipper.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Having
Um,
multiple cats will do that.
exactly. And on top of that, moving across the eastern seaboard to Maryland right after that, and then being in the camper did a lot to him. But chilling out in Lincolnton for a couple years, he he's calmed down a lot and things are fine. He doesn't
Nice.
scratch himself as much anymore.
I say he's always been kind of, not necessarily kind of. I feel like he's always been kind of calm. He's a little. He's just weird.
Yeah.
He's a weird cat.
I love the there's a TikTok audio that went around forever ago that was there are three types you have three types of animals in your house. There are no in betweens. Might be on drugs, no thoughts, just vibes, and old god in immortal form. And that was our three cats. Beep is might be on drugs. Bayorn is no thoughts, just vibes, and Jasper is old god trapped in a mortal body.
Yeah, that all tracks. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
definitely it.
Bayorn just is here. He exists, and he's happy to be just kind of trucking along.
My Discord isn't opening, Bradley. Fix
Your
it.
Discord is not open.
Fix it, Bradley.
When you ask the wrong person, I barely know how to turn my computer on.
Oh man. Um. Well, while Discord is getting started up again. Um. What was the last thing you asked?
A vibe check on the weird statue thingy.
Yes, and you rolled, and it was like a 10.
10. Yeah,
Very in the middle. There we go.
literally the middle.
Literally right in the middle. So,
Gross.
even with a 10, your vibe check comes back very negative. There's a lot of Gloam magic, which now came in your well-traveled state. You can identify some Gloam magic, some darker magic coming off of this. Even to the point where it's like leaching into the water around it. Um, but all the while, whispering, warbling in the water. It's not just an object. It almost feels like a living thing. It is exuding so much energy. So if you will give me one more sanity roll. I know, lots of stuff.
5.
Okay. But it is laying there in the grasp of your own arms, of this strange form of you on the ground.
You said it's like a foot long.
Yeah.
I'll bend over and grab it, take it from my own dead arms. But I don't want to look directly at it. I just want to like hold it, feel the weight of it in my hands for a moment. Anything happen? Anything change?
Bradley, grab a pencil or a pen or a keyboard.
Fuck. Oh god. I've got a keyboard.
You reach a hand wraps a hand, your right hand, because your left hand is not
Gone.
viable.
In my pocket.
You pull out your severed hand and reach for it like a reacher grabber. Fingers wrap around the statue, and a whisper resounds outside of your helmet and echoes within your own helmet. And it says, "From the stars, which are right, I am here. Through a dark reflection, you will see my form clear." And as you go to lift up the statue, the head of the individual, this bloated body of yours, snaps in your direction just like it did before, mouth with sharp teeth angled in your direction. But then the mouth and teeth rip free, the head splits open, and this sharp lamprey leech-like creature darts through the water in your direction. And Bradley, if I can get you to roll initiative.
Oh my god. Now I need creepy combat music.
Yeah, I gotta turn on the combat too. Let's I think I even changed the combat music for this session too. Let's see what happens. I don't remember what it was. Okay.
All right. 16 for me.
Okay. I wish I had a battle map ready for this, but I definitely don't.
Do you need a map?
No. Just because it would be much more satisfying to be able to show like areas of debris and things like that.
Yeah.
But we'll say in general, for the purposes of moving, like literally just movement speed, we'll assume it's halved, even though you have a swimming speed, but because of debris and floating stuff through the water, we'll assume you have to do some dodging and weaving and maneuvering, so we'll assume half speed as far as moving goes. But as far as range and things, we'll assume it's not dense enough to, completely block stuff as far as ranged attacks or whatever it might be. So you got a 16 here. I need to roll some things here on my side. It's fun hearing Angel do that.
Because he's good at it.
It's also fun hearing Angel do a British accent because he's really bad at it.
That's Andrew attempting to do any accent whatsoever.
Oh man. All right, let's see here. Since you have a swimming speed and a breathing, you can breathe underwater, you are effectively unhindered by being underwater. You can, as far as I am aware, you can cast spells, make ranged attacks, whatever. Since you have a movement, I think. Let me double check.
I breathe underwater, have movement speed of 40 or swimming speed of 40.
I think like attacks and stuff like melee weapon and ranged weapons still have some disadvantages, but I think for your purposes, I think you're fine. I think you'll be okay.
I don't think my flintlock pistols will work, but other than that,
yo, it's a dream.
Because I use those all the time.
It's a hallucination. Who's to say? And then finally, gotta pull up one more thing here. I don't want to at these people on stream, but also I don't think anyone's watching, so I don't think it'll matter whatsoever. Bradley, did you see 5e Tools got taken down?
What?
It got taken down.
No!
They have like a mirror website, but it got taken down.
What happened?
What I kind of assumed would happen inevitably, but yeah. They have a new like URL, but I imagine it's not long for this world anymore. Which is really, really fucked up my D&D prep nowadays. Actually, I have to use a freaking book like a jag. Okay. All that. Where did I lost a d20. Who's a what's a?
I'm so sad.
Yeah, I know. And in all the threads I saw about it, they were like, "Yeah, if D&D Beyond was like anywhere close to this sort like resource, I'd definitely spend the money. Like,
yeah,
it'd be worth it." I'm like, "Oh, rip D&D Beyond." But I mean, it's true.
It's just kind of caught up in itself, trying to be this cool official thing, whereas 5e Tools is more about the information, not about how it was presented.
Yep.
Like, not to mention, D&D Beyond spent a lot of resources into like hosting every part of your session. They want to be where you put your character sheet, where you do your video calls, everything.
Yep.
Whereas 5e Tools is just basically a glossary of information,
which is way more handy.
Yeah. And like, I understand, like, to use your stuff on D&D Beyond, you have to buy it. And I understand the ideas behind, well, if you already own the book, you should be able to own it online. Well, no, how is that fair to them? If you're using their service, you should still have to pay for it. I feel like if you can, there should be a way to prove you own a book.
Some barcode or number or something.
So that you can at least get a discount. Because like I technically own Explorer's Guide to Wildmount on D&D Beyond because I was impatient, and this was it was pre-pandemic, I think. Yeah, it was way pre-pandemic. But like I didn't want to go to the store, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and make a character in D&D Beyond, so I'm gonna grab this from D&D Beyond. I've used it like 4 times, and then Aaron got me the book for a holiday that year. So
yeah, and like if you invest in it, then it's a great resource. But I already have all the books. I have learned to live my D&D life without it for long enough that I'm like, I don't need it. Like, it'd be too much of a readjustment. But anyway, so with that, with a little surprise round doodad here, this leech that springs forth from your own mouth, theoretically, it lunges at you. Ooh, that's not great. I assume an 8 doesn't beat your armor class.
You know, it doesn't.
This black sea slug leech-like creature smashes against your helmet and cracks, like just ripple across the glass visor as its mouth like suckers to it. And it is done with that, ready to break through soon. But what you don't see
is the other 17 waiting to eat you.
Kamin, you feel just a smash against the backside of your helmet as you're focused on this leech. And the whip around allows you to see just enough that these bloated corpses that you just walked past are now upright on 2 feet, treading through the water. One of them has gotten close enough to try and grab on and hit you in the back of the helmet, but the other 3 are close behind. So first is 7 points of damage.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Okay. And then Kamin, it is your turn.
Cuckoo.
Effectively, the leech, it's not necessarily grappling you, it's kind of like an amorphous, like it's just near you, melee, whatever, all that good stuff. You have one of these bloated corpses in melee with you, trying to grab onto you, pull you down, keep you at the bottom of the ocean, and then the other 3 are encroaching. The next one will probably be there next time around.
Okay. Action as these things are up and around me. Going to cast Armor of Agathis on myself. I believe I'm at 5th level right now. It's 5 person with 25. 5 to break percentage. Increase by 5 years. Yeah, so 25 to HP. As my action, bonus action, I will summon up one of my tentacles, the guardian, tentacle of the depths, next to me, and is just going to whip out Abyssal Leech. Does it work?
Let's keep this real interesting, shall we? Make a just straight charisma check as you contest wills against this whatever you're engaging with.
17.
The tentacle appears, and immediately you can sense, and it whoosh, whips out and goes to strike you straight in the helmet.
Oh no.
A 16?
That hits. That absolutely hits.
And you see that it is just dripping with Gloam magic, and the whispering from this idol and the statue getting louder and louder. So that is going to... Oh no. 20.
What the fuck? It's a lot better tentacle than my tentacle was. Well, it takes 25 points of cold damage.
It shatters into ice and disappears.
Cool. So I'm just fucked. Yeah, I mean, that was action, bonus action. I've got creatures all around me. So that's the end of my turn.
This sea slug leech is going to swim through the water, aiming straight for that opening in your visor, trying to get directly at your face.
Please don't.
I want to use the pink die in honor of Daniel Buchan. We'll see if Daniel kills you.
Daniel, don't do it.
12 to hit?
That misses.
You turn, it skips off of the metal helmet, buying yourself an extra moment. The first bloated, drowned corpse is going to take its first strike, and the second one is going to finally make its way up and take its strike.
Natural 20. Woo!
Double. I would
Two
kid you
20s?
fucking not.
Oh,
I will dead ass take a picture. You probably heard the roll too, like straight up. I am flabbergasted. I never roll well.
I can't wait to die.
I am the shittiest D&D player ever. I roll like boo-boo. Alright, so let me just do all this at once.
If you have to.
Okay. That comes out to another even 20 points of damage.
Okay, the first one that hits me takes 25 points of cold damage.
It again, sort of frozen statue underwater.
Cool. Ow.
Ow! It is frozen. The other one is continuing trying to clamber on top of you and rip you apart. That takes it back up to you. This sea slug black leech is trying to enter in and get to your face. And it all seems strangely familiar at the same time. But it's going a little bit differently.
Yeah, because they're all within 5 feet of me, so if I try doing that, I'm at disadvantage anyway. Just trying to block myself as best I can. I'll hold out my right hand, which is still a hand, and I will coalesce a bit of the ice I've created with my first spell and create a long, slender, icy blade as I will cast Shadow Blade at 5th level because I have to. I'm a warlock.
Yep, there you go. Are you wanting to do cold damage in place for theme purposes?
Not if it's gonna be resistant to it.
That's up to you. I assumed.
I'm gonna go with the psychic damage that's in the book. Although I love your idea.
Just thought I'd ask.
I appreciate it, and I'm gonna take a swipe at the fucking leech.
Okay.
Whew, that is a 25 to hit. Assuming that hits.
Let me. That's gonna hit.
Okay, cool.
I had to double check the underwater combat thing, but specifically a melee weapon attack with a creature that doesn't have a swimming speed.
Ha ha ha! Woo!
You are exempt.
I can swim.
I can swim.
28 points of psychic damage.
Kamin, as you summon up this icy, cold icy depth of the sea in a blade all congealed into one fatal swoop, you're met with a former a memory, something you've definitely experienced, deja vu, but a little bit different. You've done this before, but it's definitely not happened this way. You were caught too off guard. You were unaware, young, drunk, not caring, whatever it may have been. And that sea leech, that slug, broke straight through the visor and got straight through to your face and your head. And the next thing you remembered was waking up in another city, another life almost. Who knows how long later. And then you went on to meet Aminah and travel the world a little bit. Meet Sludig, travel the world a little bit. And finally find a way back to Driftchapel where some of the pieces started to come back together and click into place. And finally you catch yourself slashing through that same sea slug. This black gloam, like vapors, start to spill out into the ocean. And those whispers, those same whispers bouncing around your helmet, they get quieter, quieter, and quieter. And you look behind you at these encroaching, overgrown, bloated, undead sailors who are reaching for you. They fall to the ground. And then finally, you look down and that golden idol starts to fade into Gloam darkness itself and vaporize into the ocean until eventually it starts to all fade away. And then finally, you look up and you see way up above you, away from the darkness of the depths, sunlight at the ocean's surface.
I swim for the surface if I can, if the suit's not too heavy.
You start swimming up. A lot of effort. You're probably sweating in the suit. And then finally, as you go to break the surface, the sunlight piercing through the water. You don't have a visor anymore to keep you from it. And you break the surface. And that's where we'll stop for this session. And pick up with Daniel and Drew next time. Good job, Bradley.
I survived.
You survived!
That got closer than I wanted it to, though. Armor Magathis saved my life.
Definitely. I guess in this series, it's like Armor of Qatu, but it's like your own. Like you reclaimed the Gloam magic for yourself, kind of like the witches did of the bog.
Compare me to them.
Oh man, but yes, good job, Bradley.
I lived. I don't have to use my backup character.
And thank you for being. I think with Eldritch Horror, like every session is like a guinea pig session because you could do whatever and just like go for it and try weird and wacky stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you for always being a guinea pig to my Eldritch Horror wins.
It's been fantastic. Every bit of this, especially this session, but just the campaign in general. I am all about it.
And it's fun too because I really, I've mentioned this before, I really had to throw out so much stuff because of you guys, but it's all coming back around. It's all coming back.
It's on its way back.
And it'll be very interesting, and I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Me too.
It'd be even more interesting to do a Call of Cthulhu with you guys, where instead of like D&D and all the powers and stuff, it's like, yeah, you're a plumber. Like, you're a plumber who's dealing with all this shit. Like, you don't have anything cool.
I'm a guy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It'd be really fun to do that with you guys after all this is done. See what the difference would be.
I'm gonna be now anyway. Hello, I am
Hi,
Jeff. How are you?
Normal. But yes, and we will pick up hopefully in 2 weeks. Oh. Might be out of town in 2 weeks.
The 17th of September.
Rachel's sister will be having a baby halfway through the month. We're going down for a weekend, but I don't remember which weekend. So for anyone who's watching this, might be back doing this in 2 weeks, might be out of town. But maybe we'll put something together a little special on my Patreon for missing a week. Previously, I posted the Aminah's Guide to Crafting Specialty Crossbow Bolts on my Patreon. So maybe I'll do something for one of the other two on my Patreon and something together. We'll figure it out.
Table of horrible things Kamin could have encountered.
Kamin's top 5 favorite liquors.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, where this time we're counting down art.
Oh, jeez.
There's memes like when you die, that's the afterlife. So welcome to WatchMojo.com as we count down to the top 10 most embarrassing moments of your life. That's just hell.
Man, what if that was this session? Just like, it's not like the most poignant moment, it's just the most embarrassing.
Honestly, though, like framed like that, where like I'm watching a video with this seemingly oblivious, uncaring narrator who is narrating my life as it goes by. That's horrifying. It's terrifying.
It's terrible.
That's an episode of Twilight Zone or Black Mirror or any of those existential dread television shows.
I feel like there was a podcast I listened to recently where they're talking about, like, it was a series of experiments that happened, and it sort of started because they learned that whenever you refer to someone purposefully as the wrong name repeatedly, it instills this weird sense of dread in them. So if, like, you know, if you and me were having a conversation, Bradley, and I just kept being like, yeah, so Jeremy, what'd you do this weekend? That's great, Jeremy, that's awesome. That you would just be like,
am I Jeremy?
Yeah, and so it's a weird sense of dread like that. And I feel like the same thing where if it's someone talking about your life and sort of it's like nonchalant, like, whatever. It's like, oh, it's so creepy.
Did I ever exist? Was I actually this person? Who knows?
Yuck. But Kamin definitely existed. He still lives.
Did he though?
I can't believe I rolled
Did he though?
I rolled 2 nat 20s and you were still.
I made how many sanity checks and only failed one of them?
Yeah, it was one of those like it was one of those things where it's like either you'll succumb to madness or you'll just die, like out of hit points. Like it's kind of it. Oh man.
Yeah, on an arbitrary scale of 0 to 89, 34.
Definitely. Super 30.
Without armor Bagathus would be what? 9? Yeah, 9.
Man. Oh, I love it. But anyways,
Any hoozle.
bedtime, I think.
Yes.
We play so late. We might be adjusting the time because I don't know what your new schedule is like, Bradley. But
Fridays I'm done at 3 o'clock.
So we might see you about playing a hair earlier, scooch earlier.
Okay,
we'll talk. We'll talk. But we will definitely follow for notifications about whenever I go live. Check social media because I'll post about stuff whenever I go live. And I've stopped keeping up with my Twitch panel update stuff because there's so much to already keep track of. So follow and look at my social media. But with that, I guess I don't know if he has necessarily an answer, but Bradley, what's the weather like in Driftchapel?
Wet.
All right, good night, everybody, and I hope to see you on Monday for Shard Nights.
Woohoo!